Welcome to the launch of the highly anticipated Halo Wars 2. We're coming to you live from inside the House of Halo, 343 Industries in Redmond, Washington. That's right outside Seattle, where we're surrounded by the makers of the game, fans, and RTS pros alike. Even Aatrox is here. Hello, I'm Larry Herb, Xbox Live's Major Nelson, and joining me are my fellow co-hosts, Xbox Kate Yeager, Brian Gerard, and Jeff Easterling from the 343 community. Hey, guys.
What's up, man?
Hey, guys. Well, so we have a lot in store for you tonight. The head of the Halo franchise, Bonnie Ross, is here, and she just started the party off with a little champagne toast celebrating the launch of Halo Wars 2. Now, FYI, the Ultimate Edition comes out later tonight, and the Standard Edition comes out on February 21st. So let's go in depth on all things Halo Wars 2, yeah?
That's right. That's why you're here. On this live show, we'll have developer interviews, of course, tips and tricks on the latest Halo Wars 2 strategies, a look behind that beautiful music, and much more. Plus, head of Xbox and fan favorite Phil Spencer will join us, and we're going to get the latest from him.
And now, for the first time ever, we are double streaming tonight. So I don't know what that means exactly, but I feel like Jeff and Brian might. Guys, tell us what we're going to see.
Are we actually doing that?
Yes.
We're going through
Yeah,
it.
no,
This is awkward.
We are dual-wielding streams tonight,
Yes.
folks. We're doing 2 streams simultaneously. So down the hall, I mean, we can do this. We have the technology. So we are going to be doing a gameplay stream on Beam the whole time tonight.
That's right, and actually, while the stream you're watching right now, we'll be giving you a ton of Halo Wars goodness all on its own. Our gameplay stream is exclusively on the Halo Beam channel, and it'll feature nothing but, as you've probably guessed, multiplayer gameplay for about the next 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to show off at least 2 multiplayer modes. We're going to play some Blitz, and we're going to go into some strongholds, and you can join us at beam.pro/Halo.
That's right, and while we'll be playing the game with game developers and even community members, some of whom you might even know, we also want to hear from you at home. So make sure you tweet us with your comments and your questions, maybe your hopes, and maybe your dreams, using the hashtag Halo Wars 2.
So he's absolutely right. For example, at NoBetaFeta tweeted the best name.
So good.
Getting Halo Wars 2 preloaded, can't wait for Friday. Hashtag Halo Wars 2. Well, guess what?
What?
They tweeted, and they being at NoBetaFeta, and we're giving you a season pass for free, so keep those tweets coming.
All
Just
right,
like that.
that's fantastic. All right,
Kick it
Kate.
off.
Now listen, we got to get things started.
Yes.
So you're on your way to a party.
I'm going to go party it up. See you in a bit.
All right, we'll see you later. And you guys are headed on to the second stream.
We've got a thing.
So get on your way
We'll see
down
you guys
there.
here. Thank
In the
you.
meantime, Halo Wars 2. I'm going to talk to the team behind, some of the team behind Halo Wars 2. Here's the head of the studio strategy, Dan Ayub. Dan, good to see you,
Good to
man.
see you, Larry. How's it going?
You've got some of your team here.
I do. Well, yeah, these guys. So yeah, let me introduce you all real quick. So we have Isaac Bender. He's our tech director.
Hi, Isaac.
Kevin in the back, our franchise director. Barry's our executive producer.
Yes.
Hey, turn around, guys. Erica, who's clearly already had too much to drink, our release manager. Tori, one of our producers. Paul, our audio director. We've got Clay, our design director. From our partners over right straight from the UK. We've got Dan's over here with us. Mike, our design director. Jeremy, our art director. And Andrew, another one of our tech directors. So, and everyone else, I think, is like working on a game or something right now.
Dan, we only have 90 minutes. So all right, now let's get it. We want to start right off the top of the show here and get in the ground floor. Give everyone an overview of Halo 2. What's the game, and what do we need to know going in?
Well, what you need to know about Halo Wars 2 is it's an RTS, so it's a top-down strategy game, a bit of a different tack from what we've generally done in Halo.
Right.
What's interesting is the first one, Halo Wars 1, is to this day the most popular console strategy game of all time.
Right.
Tremendously popular. People love the characters, love the gameplay, but there was no PC version, so that's one of the big things. So now Halo Wars 2 is available on PC, which is really great. So if you're a hardcore RTS player, it's got everything you want.
Well,
all of those classic modes, campaign, multiplayer. But we've also got this new mode called Blitz, which is made for everybody. And, you know, it's about a card-based mechanic, very quick, very easy to hop into. And the game's just a blast. We're really excited.
And don't forget, this is an Xbox Play Anywhere title.
It is, absolutely.
You buy it on your console, you get the
both.
Windows 10 version. You buy it on Windows 10, you get the console version.
And your achievements and your progress are going to move with you. So
Why
awesome.
wouldn't it? Now, I want to talk about what's Halo War 2 place in this massive universe that is Halo.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the first Halo Wars took place many years in the past, right?
Sure.
Even before the events of Halo 1. So the crew's been in cryosleep, which is a handy mechanism, for about 30 years. So they wake up shortly after the events of Halo 5.
Right.
So it's now brought into that like modern Halo time frame, which is great, because that gives us a bunch of storytelling options.
I want to talk about Blitz. So you had a beta about a month and a half ago. What did you learn from the Blitz beta? Well, let's talk about what Blitz is and what you learned from the beta.
Yeah, so Blitz is a whole new way to play. What we wanted to do was look at RTS, and if you take away like what can be intimidating. So you take away the base building, the resource collection, all of that stuff, and it's a really simple deck of cards. And if you've got the card, you can field the unit. So if you've got a Scorpion tank, you can field that. If you've got a Hornet, you can field it. So it's just really straightforward. And they're quick sessions, 5-7 minutes, really fast, really high action.
And I want to point out, you can also build your decks.
Absolutely.
So it's not, you can either go random or you can actually work on it and build your own decks.
Yeah, and that's one of the best parts, right? So you can choose a deck that suits your style. If you and I are playing together, we can kind of collaborate to come up with individual decks that are going to work well together. It's really a brand new to play. The beta was fantastic for us. So we had about a 10-day beta, had hundreds of thousands of people come in and play, and it's completely impacted how we do it, right? So we're tuning damage rates, we're tuning how the characters work, we're tuning the economy around it. I don't think players really understand how important that is and how helpful they are when they hop in and play the beta, because it's huge for us.
So thank you, everybody in the community. Speaking of the community, we have a question from this thing called Twitter.
I've heard of that.
Twitter's a big thing lately. Pouty Muffin writes, super hyped for tonight with the release of Halo Wars 2. We'll be uploading my gameplay of it tonight.
Excellent.
So thank you for asking that, Pouty Muffin. They didn't really ask a question, though.
It's really more of a statement,
it's more
but
of a
I'm
statement,
good with that.
so
That's a good statement.
Thank you for that. Anyway, so you know what we're going to do for that? Because we've got people with hashtag Halo Wars 2, Pouty Muffin. Guess what? You don't have to be pouty anymore. I'm giving you an Xbox One S Halo Wars 2 bundle.
Awesome.
Right?
Enjoy it.
Enjoy
awesome.
that, though. So, all right, we'll be back later in the show to tell us about the season pass plans, right?
Yeah, we're going to go into more detail.
We're going to go to that later on. We'll look forward to that, Dan. All right, we'll let you go. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Of course, Blitz mode adds a whole new layer to both Halo Wars and RTS games in general. Let's take a closer look at some Blitz basics.
Blitz is a whole new way to play RTS.
We're really excited about Blitz.
It really changes the way people will look at RTS games.
Blitz is a fast-paced, arcade action version of Halo Wars 2, where instead of building your army at a base, you're building them before a match as a deck of cards. And you fight by deploying cards from your hand into the battlefield in real time.
There's no base building, there's no economy management, it's all about the combat.
I don't want to worry about tech trees. I don't want to worry about resource collection.
The original design intention for Blitz was to make something really accessible that everybody could enjoy.
Whether you're new to strategy games or an RTS veteran.
Experience the really cool bits of RTS, so commanding a huge army, bringing down huge leader powers.
It's all about playing the right card at the right time.
At the end of the match, you're wielding these large forces with all sorts of different powers and abilities.
And start bringing out bigger guns, marauders, blisterbacks.
Even if you're a really seasoned vet, it's such a different way to play an RTS.
Building a deck is going to be heavily influenced by the leader that you choose going in.
You'll have a number of cards that are unique to that leader.
Trying to differentiate each leader to make them feel like they have a unique purpose and a unique play style.
I tend to be a little more aggressive when I play, so I will lead towards like an Atriox or a Decimus.
I'm here in the 343 studios where the community team films their regular live streams. Brian and Jeff, what do you guys have going on here?
Well, this is the gameplay stream, Larry, so
Yes.
we are going to be playing Halo Wars 2 multiplayer for the duration, and we're going to kick things off with a game of Blitz.
All right, I like the sound of that. We just learned a little bit about Blitz in that video.
Yep.
So if you're ready to learn even more and see it in action, don't go away.
That's right. We've got some awesome matches actually coming up for you, and it's going to be a variety of people taking the reins of our armies. We've got Banished, we've got UNSC, We've got the game team and the test team. We've also got some community heroes that have come from home.
Now what's going on here? Because I see him picking up a controller. Is he not going mouse and keyboard?
Well, you know, we do
match can be won or lost right here.
Both are supported, Larry.
Okay,
so
good to know.
whichever works for you. If you want to go mouse and keyboard, you can. We also can use your Xbox One controller. So, Jeff, who we got?
Well, we've got Cutter and Anders versus Cutter and Aatrox. A little side mix and match there. So it's going to be really awesome. We've got, looks like starting armies going on, and this right here is a super, super important aspect of the match. Right here, this moment, the rush that you kind of put on and the strategies that you employ right from the beginning can make or break the match.
So we can see they're headed to points. You need to control A, B, and C, correct?
Well, whichever team controls the majority of points at any given time will accrue a score.
Sure.
So in this case, you'll see B's the first one on deck, right to control point B. B is now, Red was accruing score. They got 5 points, but immediately shut down by Blue.
Now, I noticed something. You look on the small mini-map in the lower right-hand corner, we see the purple. That's power.
Purple is energy, you're right. Every card we play, we see a value on it. So every card has a cost. The cost is, the currency rather is energy. So energy will accrue normally over time, but picking up those drops will increase your rate of accrual, allowing you to play more powerful cards faster.
Now, I noticed he was going back to base. Why was he going back to the base there to spawn?
So it's an interesting strategy actually to play with the base, because when you're at your own base, your units will heal.
Okay.
And not only that, but if you spawn your own units back at your base, they start off at full strength. It's a little bit of a gamble if you want to spawn your units out on the battlefield.
So if I spawn them here where the battle's taking place, they're not. It's not so much.
They're actually not starting off at full strength. They suffer from the deployment fatigue, is what we call it. So
who doesn't?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you there.
But now it's interesting too. Some strategies that you can play is, do you spawn back at your base, but then take a little bit longer to go up and capture those points, or do you just go right into the throes of battle and take a little bit of a gamble? And the energy accruing is important too, because that kind of plays into your strategy of the deck that you build. Are you wanting to play maybe some lower cost and get a larger army out there, or are you wanting to save up?
So I want to point something out here. So you see the cards across the bottom. I don't know whose screen we're looking at right here. We see the cards across the bottom with those numbers, and that number is what the energy, the power that you need to deploy. And so that number on the right-hand side, the purple number next to the mini-map, has to be above that number in order to
Right, so right now, as you point out, this player that we're watching only has about 96 accrued energy. Their cheapest card they can currently play is 100. So what I would do is I would choose to cycle the card by pressing X. I'll forfeit 5 energy, but I can dump that card.
Essentially,
So sitting on a 140 and 130 cost card this early in the game could be a critical mistake.
All right, so he looks like he just now he has an 80.
Yeah, so the players can hear us. So he obviously heeded my advice, responded.
Nice work.
Nice job.
Well done. Now, also, if you'll notice, underneath that energy number, the 45, 49, 50 that's counting, you see that .60. Brian, tell us a little bit more about
what is that?
Well, that is your accrual rate. So that is sort of how fast are your ticks of energy that build up on your player. And that number goes up every time you collect an energy drop on the map. So early on, it's critical to split your forces. And if you see an energy drop, you want to go for it, because early on, that energy disparity could be the difference in the late game breaking outcome.
Now, right now, we see this match is already hot and heavy. It's 38 to 33, and we see them battling over that middle control point, and that's something that you will see a lot. A lot of kind of a typical flow is you'll see a team sit on A and maybe a team sit on C, and then that B is just a hotbed.
It's just constantly being turned over. Now we can see he's got some troops moving down to looks like the southeast of the map there to pick up that energy. If we look in the lower right-hand corner, so he's really he's got to get that power together. But usually at this point I have a lot more power. So what's his strategy here?
Yeah, it's interesting. Your energy, by the way, is shared between teammates. So a good strategy, if you have a chance to coordinate, is maybe somebody wants to go heavy and try to hold down points while your partner goes light and fast with warthogs or jackrabbits and goes after energy drops.
Yeah. So we can see this is we've talked about the fact we've got the cards here. Now, do we know, did they assemble their decks, or are these random decks?
Well, if they had any skill, I would have hoped they spent some time, because really the most important decision takes place before the match even begins with the construction of your deck and the leader choice.
In all honesty, that's one of the coolest things, just for me personally, about Blitz is even in a loss, you can kind of, when you go into that strategy, you can see oh man, the opponent really took me down. I struggled with this part of the strategy or this one. And half the fun is actually assembling your own deck and throwing it at your opponent.
I see they're playing each a couple of cutter cards. Tell us about what the cutter cards are.
Well, that is a great question, Larry. Off the top of my head, I do not know what all the cutter cards are.
That actually brings up a good point. There are a variety of different cards, so not all of the cards are necessarily specific like a unit card.
Right.
So some of them may be, for example, like a leader power.
I see.
So it could be, rather than spawning in like a vulture or a hornet, you could be spawning in maybe an archer missile strike from the Spirit of Fire.
Sure.
Or you could be spawning in maybe a group of Forerunner Sentinels.
There you go, right there. Speaking of the devil, we just saw a missile strike come in, which is
That's a good coordination right there. It's almost like we planned it.
It's a cutter unique ability. Each leader does have a couple cards that are unique to them, as well as one or two abilities.
So these are like these ultimate powers that you can just. Of course, they cost.
They do.
There's significant cost involved.
But there's an extra layer of strategy with the synergy with your teammate, where you might want to go with a leader, like for example, someone like Cutter that can bring in a bombardment versus someone like, say, Shipmaster, who has more stealth tactics and a lot faster, easier to play.
And it brings up an interesting point when you talk about teammate, because Blitz can obviously be played 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and that, in all honesty, completely changes the nature of the game. When you're going 1v1 and the strategy is all completely dependent on you, the game can swing in really interesting ways. Meanwhile, if you've got a 2v2 or 3v3, it really changes up the approach, because, again, it's all about coordination with your team and having complementary strategies.
So what we're seeing here is something we saw a lot of during the Blitz beta that was just a couple weeks ago. Well, we joke internally, we call this OP Ridge. This ridge line here separating B and C, an ideal spot to set up artillery, like we're seeing these artillery units being deployed here.
Lots of Kodiaks
gives you
and Locusts
an amazing range of fire to pound B, to pound C, and it really sets up a great opportunity to hold both locations.
Now that brings up an interesting point, because we see that Red has 2 points here. Do you recommend holding the 2 points or venturing out and capturing all 3?
Personally, I think you kind of have to judge what's happening in the heat of the moment. But for right now, Red is in the driver's seat. Now, if you feel like you're going to lose B, it might just make sense to forget it, do a quick end around, sneak in behind A, and take it from underneath their nose.
Another strategy, too, to employ when you think about like a triple cap is if you're holding 2 and you feel like you're running into a hot and heavy battle at one of those control points that you own, a lot of times it's helpful to see like, hey, they've actually left their own control point totally open.
Right.
Send one ghost or one small expendable unit out there just to harass, just to make them think twice about leaving their own
So
point.
look, we just had the map ping. We just had 4 energy drops come in at once. So that is critical. It's going to be curious to see now which team is willing to pull away from the control points and go for the energy in hopes for a longer play.
Yeah, notice how the energy, again, those are the purple dots on the lower right-hand corner in your mini-map, and it's a risk versus reward. Do you leave your point and go grab those, or what do you do? Do you just dig in?
What we just saw was an amazing shutdown. So the OP Ridge I talked about earlier just got annihilated. All those
Doesn't work all the time.
Just a race like that. So we're kind of back to an even playing field, even though at this point you can see the red team is really starting to run away with it.
But at the end of the day, we look at the score up in the upper left, 145 to 33. Is blue out of business, or it can come back quickly?
I mean, at this point, I'm not going to lie, Larry. It's an uphill battle. No, it's not impossible, but blue is going to really have to pull out some miracles here.
All right. Well, this looks actually fantastic. So, how long? So they're about 4.5 minutes in. So, what do we think is going to happen here? What's your recommended strategy?
It's interesting now because while in Blitz we definitely can see some incredible momentum swings and see some really crazy comebacks. Now is the problem is that time is the enemy of the blue team. So it's going to be a really, really uphill battle for them to be able to make up that difference with just, under 4 minutes left to go.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be a pessimist here, but I really feel like, unfortunately, a realist. Blue team needs to throw the towel in here. Unfortunately, I just do not see any way they're going to come back. Not only are they down by 150 plus points, but with 3 minutes and change to go, I just don't think it's mathematically possible. Unless blue could somehow miraculously triple cap, I think they're out of this one.
Probably wouldn't make a good Little League coach with that attitude.
Well, I like to keep it real, like to set expectations appropriately. No sense giving people false hope.
Well, and there we go. We've got the match ending right now.
All right, later these guys will be playing more Blitz and Stronghold, but right now I'm heading back to the main show. Let's check in with Kate of the party. Kate, what's going on?
Hey there, look who I found. We got Max and Clay from 343 Industries, Dan over there and Casey representing Creative Assembly, and now they're the UK studio that actually were responsible for Total War, which we'll talk about in just a second. But first, let's go over. This was an epic partnership between 343 and Creative Assembly. Tell me about the genesis of that.
Well, we have wanted to do this game ever since the first one came out, and one of the things that we were waiting for was to find the perfect partner, and Creative Assembly has not only been that, but has been a huge, an endless stream of creativity and collaboration, and it has been fantastic to work together. So I'm very, very happy about that.
So, Max, tell us a little bit about why this is not a typical RTS.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the other great things that came out of this partnership is how we've been able to create this new mode, Blitz mode specifically, and finding the magic of mixing in that card mechanic with the traditional RTS gameplay and finding something new and fresh.
Let's talk about new and fresh. Cassie, Dan, you guys represent Creative Assembly that is new to the Halo franchise, but obviously the studio is not new to RTSs with Total War. Tell us a little bit about how that affected this partnership.
All right. Well, Creative Assembly has been in the RTS and the strategy genre for over 15 years. As soon as we knew that we were going to partner together, we couldn't wait to just bring all of our experience to bear. We knew it would be a great match.
Dan, legit, when you got the call that said, hey, you're working with 343, you're working with Halo, what was going through your head?
It's kind of like a dream come true, really. Like, Halo's this massive kind of household name. As a designer, you never really picked yourself, I can't work on that far-off magical Halo franchise. But when it broke to me that it was going to be Halo, it was really quite a magical moment, really cool.
Now, we have you guys here from 343 and from Creative Assembly. Can we expect a partnership in the future?
And it's going on right now. We have a ton of stuff that we are still working on coming out soon over the next few months. So, but yes, it's been fantastic, and I really look forward to working with everybody going forward.
Excellent. Well, the fans, I'm sure, agree. Guys, thank you so much for talking with us today. Halo Wars 2 adds some iconic new characters to the Halo universe that I'm sure these guys know all about. And two of the early stand-ups are Atriox and Isabel. Let's get to know them a little better.
The process starts with character, right? It starts with story and character, and that drives everything else, because all the detail and explosions and fidelity we add on top of that is nothing if you don't believe in those characters and the story they're telling you. I think one of the first things we did when Kevin was talking to us about it was, okay, well, these are the characters we have. Who are the new people we want to introduce? The biggest of which was Atriox.
Put a lot of effort into establishing a new enemy, because you can have a great good guy, but he really needs to have an equal bad guy. A brute who can outthink you as well as outfight you physically is a very different kind of a threat, and so that's really where Atriox was born.
He was often sent on suicide missions, and he always returned, and that made him dangerous to the Covenant. So when we encounter him, he's at the crux of finding a way to amplify and strengthen that army.
From a visual standpoint, everything should look like it should hurt you or potentially kill you. We wanted to layer that on top of some of that recognizable Covenant technology. So lots of ramming spikes, lots of layered armor, things that spoke to a brute's sensibilities and aesthetic choices. And then we've also given him little trophies, little very subtle elements that kind of speak to maybe what his past has been like, things that could have just been from somebody that he's dispatched in the past and decided to just keep as a trophy and make it part of his collection. But also the form from function, where armor is at serves a role. You'd be more protected around the core, like his chest, and he's got a larger shoulder pad because he's got an augmented gauntlet. Like, this should feel like a bipedal tank.
I wanted to have a reason for you to fear him, and the best way to do that is have Isabel tell you who he is and why we need to run.
Spartans, thank God. We have to get out of here.
When we first meet Isabel, she shows up in a way that we haven't seen AIs behave in Halo before. She's freaked out.
When we created Isabel, we wanted to make a different kind of AI. AIs are generally perfection. We wanted a flawed AI from the outset.
We wanted her to be a little bit more rough around the edges. She's logistics, so she's, kind of like the tank girl. Ripley from Aliens 2 was a big influence in that.
I need her down there with me.
Isabel?
Sorry, sir. After recent battle reports, you should have figured out that there are rules around here. I intend to break one.
We had a real task set out for us in finding not only the person who will be Isabel, but what that voice is. And I think we couldn't have had a better actress for the job.
Sir, yes, sir.
With the way that we shoot mocap, it has to be the same person who we're scanning for our character model. So this person not only has to look like the character, but has to act like the character and has to sound like the character.
To get the likeness and fidelity that we really wanted, the technology demands that you essentially cast who you want to be that character. It's a creative choice, but it's also to showcase the best technology that's available out there. When it works so well, and you just get everything at once, and you really breathe life into that character.
It's almost like directing a movie, right? At the end of the day, I mean, cinematics has always been somewhat like that, but now you've actually got us in the studio directing these actors. The process has just changed so much. I really think those first cinematics of the original Halo Wars just kind of raised the bar for the industry as a whole, and that's what we're doing again.
I think it's important not to miss, the point that people love these characters that we're creating, and that requires us spending time and effort making sure that they're well-rounded and real. From the first word on the page, to the first design we draw, to the actors that breathe life into them, to the final lighting and animation parts that we do here. Every single piece needs to fall into place. There's a lot of people out there that expect a lot from this franchise.
That to me is the most exciting thing when you are putting a face to a brand new character. You're creating a new digital life, which is pretty awesome.
Here to walk us through Halo Wars 2's single-player campaign, our narrative design director, Kevin Grayson, art director, Jeremy Cook. Gentlemen, nice to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
All right, I'm sorry to pull you away from the party, but we got a couple of questions for you. Walk us through what we can expect in the campaign mode.
It's a little bit of a spoiler for day one, but on a high level, you got the UNSC Spirit of Fire, the UNSC, the good guys. Been in cryosleep for about 28 years, and they're coming back to a galaxy that has changed a lot since we last saw them.
I want to talk about the struggles that Cutter faces in the game. Tell us about that.
The struggles. That's you.
The team faces? Well, I don't know. It's hard to, when you come into a sequel of a game in a universe with as much history as Halo, of coming in to try to respect all of that history and respect the characters that you've seen before, but also surprise people in some great ways and kind of bring some new dimension, a little depth, hopefully, to a universe that lots of fans love and that we need to be really respectful of.
Let's talk about the Banished. How deadly of a threat are they?
Very. Can we say very?
Super deadly.
Super very. Yeah, that's a technical term.
That's what makes it such a fun thing, is because it's such an underdog story, because Cutter's already 30 years outgunned and way behind the curve on the technology side, and the Banished is ferocious in their own right, so it just makes it even that much more of a upset.
Now, Jeremy, I want to talk to you. Fans are excited about Halo Wars 2's return to classic Halo art style. Tell us about that and how you married the visuals with this new story.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and I love all the positive feedback on that. It's hard to say that it's just the classic coming back, because we and our team at CA, we all wanted to make sure that we were bringing back, like we said before, paying homage to the originals, fan sensitivities, but as well not just throwing the new stuff away. So finding that nice halfway between. Also, it makes perfect sense with the Spirit of Fire being in cryo for 30 years. We can kind of take the best from both worlds, and with the introduction of Isabel, we can really cherry pick from both past and modern.
Now, one of the questions I've seen bouncing around is how will the story be able to be continued with add-ons?
That's definitely a spoiler for today, but we've got plans in place. We're going to see more of the UNSC, and we get some more for our new friends that we meet in the main game too. So lots to talk about in the future.
That's a little glimpse into what's going on with the single-player campaign. Gentlemen, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And now, here are some Halo Wars 2 tips and strategies to improve your own game and dominate your opponents.
When you're loading into a match, think about what you want to do in that first minute.
Already be talking to your teammates.
Don't hesitate, just get aggressive and get out there as quick as possible.
The thing you need to look out for in deck building for Blitz is be flexible.
You only have 12 very precious slots. I really try to make sure that I have everything that does more than one thing.
For a 1v1 deck, you really need a fairly balanced deck with a few flex slots. If you're playing in teams, you have a bit more flexibility because you can choose to specialize in a slightly different way, so you can go with heavier units and more powers.
I kind of build from my Uber unit down. What do I want the biggest, baddest hurt to be?
I think all of the leaders bring something interesting to the table. They all have 2 different unique starting armies.
I definitely have recently been playing Shipmaster more. He starts with very fast units. He starts with Ghosts or Marauders, which are quick. He's got teleportation in his decks. He's got a lot of things that are about being all over the battlefield and kind of keeping your enemy on their back foot.
One of my favorite leaders is still Cutter. If you wait in the later game and you bring in, ODST drop, ODST assault group, turret drop, Cyclops drop, and then follow it up with close air support, you basically can put a huge army on the field in a matter of seconds.
If you're a really big fan of kind of being tricky, manipulative, then the Isabel leader would be a good one for you.
I really like the take control aspect of her units being able to kind of like hack AI or send hologram decoys.
The Kodiak, I think, is a very valuable unit. It takes a little bit of effort to deploy it and undeploy it, find good places for it. They can put down a heck of a lot of firepower in a really short amount of time.
I love aerial units. Their big strength is terrain is not really an issue. It's great for swooping in and capturing points.
Make great use of the healing units like the Engineer and the Nightingale. Those are some of the most important units in Blitz.
I definitely like to throw things like blisterbacks out there and try to kind of control areas on the ground.
Some Nightingales with some Hornets flying cover are really an interesting, powerful combination.
Skirmish, maybe one of the best things about it is that it gives you some really good training on how to reduce your build times.
It's a great way to learn the game. It's a great way to actually experiment with different strategies.
How can I get to my best point the fastest? And Skirmish is a great way to get that repetition in and practice that.
Get your economy going fast. There's loads of ways to capture resources, whether it's through points, running around the map, get your Marines out there, start picking up crates, go and see what the AI is up to. Because if you're playing Skirmish, assume it's coming with the rush. Start building turrets.
Welcome back to the Halo Wars 2 Live. Let's check back in with the multiplayer stream.
And what's up, guys? We would like to welcome you back to the multiplayer stream. We are playing a whole bunch of Halo Wars 2 multiplayer. It's all gameplay all the time, and we have already seen some pretty scintillating opening matches. I'm Jeff Easterling. I'm joined by Brian Gerard. Would you agree with that assessment? Got some good stuff going on
we're
right
having
now.
a great time here, Jeff. There's a party raging down the hall. We are here playing Halo Wars 2 multiplayer all day today for this stream. We're getting ready to jump into another match here. It looks like we have 4 fresh opponents, contestants rather, if you will.
Opponents, components, it's all good.
Need you guys to get this game started. We are going back into Blitz for 2v2.
We've got, and the nice actually thing about this is not only do we have like members of the game development team, but we also have some community heroes who have made the trek out to Redmond, Washington to be with us for the Halo Wars 2 launch party. Actually, the 2 that are sitting closest to me, near and dear to my heart, wonderful community members. We've got DJ Blue and Big Hundry 2X. I don't know if the 2X is his shirt size or his playing ability.
I don't know.
But I
He's
guess
hungry.
we're about to. They have matching shirts, which I know from watching HCS. If you have matching shirts, that means that you're good.
It's an intimidation factor, absolutely.
Psychological warfare. It's a key part of Blitz.
Blitz, 2v2, it's a team game. I think team tactics, if you have a chance, if you know your teammate, you coordinate your leaders, you build your decks out to complement one another, you certainly have an advantage once the game kicks off.
That's
so
true.
let's, I think we're ready to go here. Looks like our game's underway. Let's jump right into gameplay. It's Halo Wars 2 Blitz mode, 2v2.
Now, we see these 2 starting decks right now, and we've been talking. Like, the beginning of the match is super, super key. And right now, we're watching 2v2 gameplay. But the strategy totally changes if you're playing 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. Brian, do you have a personal preference as far as, like, the playlist that you really prefer?
Yeah, I played a lot of 2v2 in the beta, and then kind of at the end found myself playing more 3v3 because it's a little more hectic. The games go a little longer, and I found that I had an opportunity to play more of those sort of big, heavy units that are so satisfying. Things like the Scarab, things like dropping in a Spartan. Sometimes in a 1v1, you don't even get to that point because the games could go so fast.
In all honesty, speaking of some epic 3v3 gameplay and community heroes, you and I actually teamed up with a community content creator, iSpiteful, not too long ago. Actually, it was during the Blitz beta. And I do believe we had an undefeated streak.
We did go on a little bit of a streak there. Yep, shout out to iSpiteful. So back to this game, it looks like we've had a couple energy drops coming in right now. Red team off to an early lead of 19 zip. As expected.
Rocking that goose egg.
We got two teams fighting right now, contesting point B. Red's going to hold C. Blue is content to hold A. And right now, the battle comes down to who's going to take B, regain control, and get
who's going to control OP Ridge.
Well,
that's going to be the thing. And we actually have seen, like we were talking about a little bit earlier,
right
the Locust.
There you go. Right on OP Ridge, we have red team setting up a Locust, and look at that range. Now, it doesn't do intense damage, but it is just constantly whittling down the health.
Always harassing.
Absolutely.
Always harassing.
It's an annoying unit.
And it's interesting, with these specific units, all of the units that you see, the cards that are down in the deck, you not only see their values, but as you play a little bit, you get to learn the iconography of the cards themselves and see the different attributes that the different units actually bring into play, which is really nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy and depth here, especially as you get into 2v2, 3v3, because you and your teammates can coordinate and pick different complementary leaders, complementary starting decks that can play off each other's strengths and weaknesses. Now, we're seeing here on the screen, another viewer poll is coming up. So if you're watching us on Beam, we want to hear from you. We want you to interact with us. Predict this match right now. It's off to a pretty close game here, 38-11. But let us know right there in the Beam chat, who do you think is going to win this match?
Red went off on a little bit of a run, but Blue's coming back a little bit. And I want to go back, actually, what we just saw was a blister back heading back towards base. Had a lot of damage on it, but now it's heading right back into battle, full health. So you got to remember, coming back to base is a really key component of like a good strategy. Yeah, you're taking a little bit of a risk, taking that unit, especially if it's a really important unit, powerful unit, taking it out of battle. But it's more important to pull that back, gain some health, and put it right back in. And then, hey, you didn't have to spend anymore to get it back in.
Yeah, especially on those expensive kind of power units. You know, if one of those comes in with deployment fatigue and immediately gets negated, you're really going to be at a deficit there in terms of the energy.
Now, what's interesting, we're watching, what we have on the screen right now is we've got, especially after that play of a card, we've got only in the teens of energy, like the 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But look what's at the north of the map.
I know, you're right. We have four active drops right now. It looks like red team is going north, is going to try to make a move to collect that energy. At the moment, I don't see blue team trying to make an effort to contest any energy. So, you know, those three grabs right now could be what red needs to even pull further ahead.
And red just capped point A, which is now means that the scoring is going to start again. At first, A was completely contested, wasn't claimed by anybody, so we had 1-1, and you have to be controlling more control points than your opponents.
Yeah, one thing I am noticing just from sitting over here is I'm not hearing a lot of team communication right now between either one of these teams, which...
Not us. I mean, we have great team communication.
No, please,
but
you
we're
guys...
not playing, unfortunately.
You don't hold back on our account, please.
No, that's fine.
I'd rather you win and work on some teamwork, so...
Man,
you know,
if we were on the ball, I mean, we would do like some sort of HCS, like team listening.
Yeah, if we could listen in. I mean, right now we are listening in.
You can't necessarily ever understand anything that they're saying, but you know that the crazy mid-battle yelling means power and effectiveness.
So we got a pretty interesting match going on right now. It looks like we're contesting at A, which is a little unusual. We don't see that too often right now in Blitz, but both teams sort of content to hold B and C. Right now it's all about A. Red team has pulled ahead 79-12. Now remember, the first team to hit 200 points or have the most points when that game timer expires will be the victor.
Now it's an interesting thing to remember about RTS gameplay, and specifically Halo Wars gameplay, is the kind of rock, paper, scissors aspect of it. You've got three main types of units, if you will. You know, you have your infantry, you have your air units, and you have your vehicles, and each one of those is better against one of those other one. Again, it's like that rock, paper, scissors. So the infantry is really, really strong against the aircraft, and aircraft really good against vehicles, vehicles really good against the infantry. So add to that like specialist units that are specifically good against another one, like Hellbringers or snipers, and you got yourself a recipe for some interesting strategy when you're thinking about building your deck and what to play at what time.
Yeah, so looks like we're about halfway through this match, halfway through our timer, halfway towards our winning score. Red team is kind of starting to pull away with it here. I haven't seen blue team make a really good push.
And sorry to interrupt, actually, we saw that blister back get spawned in. It's actually what we were talking about with Major Nelson just a little bit earlier. He took the opportunity to spawn it right into the middle of battle, which is handy, but you'll notice it spawned at half health. Had that deployment fatigue, so he's going to have to make sure to kind of clear those units out to make it more effective.
Well,
now,
look
one way
at
you
that
can counter-
teamwork there. Sorry to interrupt you, but I see it looks like red team dropped an engineer onto the field, which is one of the UNSC units that actually has the ability to heal not only your own units, but also your teammates' units. So really nice teamwork and synergy there. Dropping in the engineer unit to help heal teammates.
You have a particular favorite support unit?
I pretty much like the Nightingale on the UNSC side, to be honest, because not only does it heal, it also has that super sweet Y button sort of smoke screen shroud effect that will temporarily cloak your units, and that thing can really turn the tide of battle.
It also looks a lot like the Falcon, which I love.
That's true.
Which is pretty cool. Now, an interesting thing, you know, when you talk about like it being a support unit, it's an awesome unit to have, but you can't just spam, a huge fleet of Nightingales, because they actually don't have any like offensive combat abilities.
You're right, and they cost units, and even to get that many cards to cycle through, you would have to be cycling and discarding a lot of wasted energy just to get back to a Nightingale. So you're right, that isn't really a viable strategy. So at this point, 4 minutes to go. 163 to 12.
Hopefully, if you voted in that Halo Beam channel viewer poll, you voted red. Because if you didn't, you voted wrong.
And at this point, Red's holding A and C. That score is just ticking up by the second. A little bit of a weird battle going on up here in the middle of nowhere. Like, Blue gains nothing by expending units, fighting up here off the grid. Blue really needs to get their act together and make a push and try and contest A or C, even though at this point, honestly, Jeff, I hate to say it, I think it's too late.
Yeah, that's true. Now, if it was a little bit closer, now would be actually, speaking of which, talk about like a crazy battle being contested over A right now.
Everything's going on right
all
there.
units.
Yeah, that's everything. Everybody's just throwing every card right there, trying to go for A. It's an all or nothing move. Unfortunately, Red just shrugged it off.
I'd love to imagine that both forces on B and C just knocking back some popcorn, watching the fireworks.
And there you go, right
there. We go.
there.
We've got
So,
victory
if you
for the
voted
red
for red,
team.
you chose wisely.
Yep, another rousing match of Blitz on the.
Great show of friendly sportsmanship, gamesmanship.
Right,
there.
yeah, a lot of
well played. And we're going to get right into our next match here in just a moment.
We need visibility on these cloaked units, ASAP!
Enemy spotted.
Now, I am here surrounded by the 405th, and I have been joined by our resident Cortana cosplayer, Sarah. You can see she is Cortana, absolutely. Oh, where's your microphone? What happened to it? It's okay, but we're going to talk to Sarah. So here's what we're going to ask. These guys are amazing. Tell us about the 405th.
The 405th is a dedicated, amazing group of people who have all gathered together to show their expression of creative freedom through making awesome Halo armor and costumes. As you can see, it's all sorts of people with all sorts of skill levels and passions, and everybody just kind of comes together and helps make awesome things.
Speaking of making awesome things, you did something very specific for Halo Wars 2. You actually put together an Aatrox's Chainbreaker. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so for the launch, we wanted to make something special, and I thought that the most iconic thing that we could make was Aatrox's Gravity Mace Chainbreaker, because it's the first time that we've seen a weapon like that in the Halo universe, and I thought it would be a really neat challenge to take on building.
I kind of want to see it. We have it right here. Can we see it? This is not small. Tell me about it.
It's not quite to scale. It's only 4 feet. It's got a little bit of heft to it, but I made it almost entirely out of foam and PVC with some shatterproof Lexan.
I work with that all the time, so that's super cool. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. Actually, before I let you go, you were intimately familiar with Halo Wars 2 and the making. Tell me what you're most excited about fans getting their chance to play.
Ooh. I have a little bit of a personal stake in this one. There's something that I worked on that's coming up in the future of Halo Wars 2 that I'm really excited for folks to get to play.
We are as well. Once again, thank you, Sarah. And thank you, 405th. You guys rock. So if you're watching this on Xbox One, pick up your controller right now and get ready to vote after you watch this next video. What is the next video? Well, I'll tell you. Recently, we brought together a bunch of teams within 343 to take part in an impossible challenge, building an 848-piece Mega Construct set without any instructions, or even knowing what the heck they were making. Here's what happened.
Welcome to the first annual 343 Mega Constructs Challenge. You guys have any idea why you're here?
None.
You're going to compete against your co-workers to build a mystery Halo Wars 2 vehicle. Everybody understand everything? Sure. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, your 15 minutes starts now.
So what are we building? The large pieces?
Let's take all the tiny pieces and throw them on the floor.
We have the hatch.
Oh, we've got a body piece.
There's an arm. Hang on. This is important.
Oh, we found Chief. It's Chief.
Industrial strength toilet seat.
Cod piece. Cod piece.
It's one vehicle. One vehicle, right?
One vehicle.
How many wheels we got? Hopefully 4.
So many wheels.
8 wheels. There's still more wheels?
Not a jackrabbit, not a warthog,
Not a Cobra, because that's not.
I'm thinking Kodiak.
Kodiak. I thought this would be a Kodiak.
A lot of pieces here.
Yeah, can we have a countdown timer?
All right, you guys got 10 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
5 minutes have already gone?
You kind of gave us a big thing to build here.
Is this very stressful?
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
I know.
All right, we got to start building something.
I'm building here. What are you talking about?
We got to...
50 minutes is not a lot of time.
Does that look like a barrel?
Takes me all day with my kids.
I might just go teeter-totter.
Maybe it's one of these?
5 minutes.
Your 5 minutes.
I had high hopes for us.
Why are you
taking the wheel?
Well, because I'm going to start putting...
Give me back the wheel.
Who's voting on this again, James? Everyone. Can't please everyone.
Let's do some vehicle integration testing.
Oh, not bad. All right. So like a moon buggy.
This is much more difficult than it seems.
I feel like there's some pieces missing because I can't find the butts.
That's what it is. There's pieces missing.
I can't find the butts to
Definitely
these
pieces
guys.
missing. We need more butts.
No giggling. Shush, you.
1 minute.
No!
Spoiler.
Stop talking!
Start pulling this together.
Okay. Oh, you're breaking it.
8,
Put something.
7, 6.
It still doesn't work.
Put a guy on.
Just the torso.
Yes!
Rubble.
Rubble.
Hands down.
Perfect.
Oh, man.
All right, guys, congratulations. 15 minutes. That flew by quickly.
Sure did.
Let me go ahead and show you guys what the pieces actually create. Kodiak siege cannon. Pretty close.
That's what I was building!
I actually don't really see the difference.
Yeah, I
between
can't tell.
If you squint,
It's exactly the same thing. What's
I
the
think,
big
yeah,
deal?
I know. I think you guys nailed it.
So we won, right? We won?
Yeah.
What does this do back here? Oh.
Oh.
And we want to hear from you. If you're watching on your Xbox One, now is your chance to vote. So tell us, which team do you think won the Kodiak Challenge? That's right, use the power of your controller to make our devs night. And while we're waiting for the results, my good friend James here is going to show us some toys that you've got for Halo Wars 2, starting off with this legendary crate.
The Halo Legendary Crate. I
Yes.
mean, what's a Halo game launch without a massive amount of Halo gear, right?
I cannot think of one thing.
Exactly. So the Halo Legendary Crate, this is the Halo Wars 2 themed crate. It's a surprise inside, so a lot of mystery items. It's actually shipping here in about a week to all the fans who subscribe. But I want to show off a little. This is the exclusive Atriox figure that's going to appear inside everybody's crate. And of course, want to debut the pin that'll be exclusive inside the crate for everybody to get. The rest of the items we're going to kind of, hold off on so no one has any kind of spoilers.
This is going to look real good on that lapel, guys.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Let's go over.
Real quick, just want to let people know that this has closed for sales. However, it is going to be available in Loot Crate's vault starting tomorrow. So if you missed out, there's still a chance to still pick one up.
Good to know, good to know. Let's move it on to the Spirit of Fire.
That's right. This is from Dark Horse. It's their scaled replica Spirit of Fire we put out just in time for launch. I mean, what can you say? It's a gorgeous...
The intricacies are
extremely
incredible.
detailed replica of the ship. Be available in all the stores you want to get it at. GameStop, Amazon, Dark Horse. Go for it.
Excellent. Speaking of going for it.
Now this is our showcase item. So we're actually debuting these here today, right now.
Yeah.
This is our brand new Series 2 6-inch collector action figures from Mattel. And of course, we're gonna roll out with everybody's new favorite villain, Atriox, and the leader of Red Team, Spartan Jerome. They're amazing. We call them 6-inch, but clearly you can see Atriox is center up, 8 inches tall, but hyper articulated, super detailed. These will be out in stores around June, but we're super stoked on this one.
Excellent.
Yeah, Yeah, and you know, if this is a little bit too big for you, we do scale way down with our Mega CONSTRUX Halo Heroes lines.
Yeah.
I absolutely love these little guys. Tiny, tiny wee Atriox. I mean, it's just adorable.
Itty bitty. And it's great
Exactly.
for if you need to be portable with your toy.
Yeah, I mean, you carry it in your pocket, whatever.
Yeah. Rad. Well, James, thank you so much. And last question. Where can people find all this loot?
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, if you want to go ahead and check us out and follow us at Halo Gear, you can learn about all our amazing products we come out with.
Wonderful, guys. At Halo Gear. Remember it. Right now, though, let's move it back to our table. We have the winner of the Kodiak Challenge, and that team is Team Strategy. Team Strategy.
Yeah.
Team Strategy? You won! Get your asses up here. This is a spirited place and a spirited team. How does sweet, sweet victory taste?
Like Kodiak.
Delicious.
That's a game
Kodiak.
reference. Sorry, I'm not sure that worked. It probably didn't actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi.
Hey, awesome. Guys, go and celebrate. Thank you so much. You get to keep this, by the way. This is all you.
All right.
And speaking of one more Mega CONSTRUX thing, they recreated one of the Halo Wars 2 trailers block by block. And we have a clip for you to see right now. The music of Halo has always been a huge part of the iconic franchise. Here's a look behind the scenes at the creation of the Halo Wars 2 score.
What is Halo music? You know, it's very thematic, character-driven moments.
I mean, there is a long legacy, and for us, we wanted to distill the essence of what those were.
There's kind of this sacred element.
The orchestra, this larger-than-life sound.
With Halo Wars 2, we were kind of handcuffs off and gloves off. I mean, it was like we have a chance to do something completely new. When I sat down with Brian and said, hey, you know, we want to launch a whole nother score, rebirth the whole franchise, or a part of our existing franchise, how are we going to do that? And so we thought, well, let's call Gordy. Gordy's someone I've known for years, and we've been wanting to work together forever. We were just waiting for that perfect project to show up. The Bryans and their completely unique sound with Gordy's complete mastery of the orchestra, and it was like, wow, I think this is going to be groundbreaking.
Something that I wanted to do, and we discussed this in the beginning, was approach this score very thematically. So each character having a theme and sort of a more old-fashioned traditional approach to the score, but done in a modern way.
We wanted new themes and that still kind of feels like Halo, but it also moves the story further and taking the sound, you know, into the sort of next generation of Halo music.
With Atriox, he's a brute and this huge intimidating character. there's a darkness to a lot of the sound texture with him.
He's a tragic figure in an interesting way. There's a little bit, there's sort of a sadness and a hope.
As an audience member, you see this character and you can relate in some way and understand where he's coming from. And I think that the best villains in history always have sort of this backstory that you can relate to. And so you can understand exactly why they are the way they are.
You know, it's funny, just like we have this compelling new character with Atriox, Isabel is just as compelling, if not maybe even more so in a different way. We wanted someone to be relatable. There was a delicate side, an emotional side, but there's a really strong side to her too.
Isabel is a hero, and we wanted to approach it that way and make sure that it was a theme that could be translated and heightened in the important moments.
But then there's also how her theme intersects with Atriox's theme. This is true crafted orchestral writing, and this is Gordy's mastery of the orchestra coming into play.
For me, it was a great challenge to actually get in and study the sound, sort of the harmonic language of the Halo world.
I knew it was going to be cool, but until we heard it being performed by the orchestra at Fox,
suddenly it comes to life, and it's just this amazing, breathing, living thing.
So last night, we snuck up on Robertson and emptied 3 packs of biofoam on him while he was sleeping. He was still there when we left. Wyatt, Sarge is looking this way.
All right, I'm here with Paul Lipson, the auditory genius behind the sounds of Halo War 2. Not just the orchestral music that we just saw, but the actual sounds in the game, right?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a team effort,
yeah.
But it's amazing to be working on the music, the sound design, the VO.
Yeah.
All of us came together and did something, I think,
Yeah, we're going to
really
talk about
special.
the VO because for some reason, I guess I didn't get my call that you needed my voiceover for a character.
Oh, I totally needed your voice.
I don't know about that.
It's
But
not the same.
I want to talk about the game a little bit and some of the
Absolutely.
sounds that you used in the game. Because Halo has this iconic palette of sounds. We all know the plasma grenade.
Absolutely.
We know all these key sounds. So how did you take that and build on it with Halo Wars 2?
Well, the amazing opportunity we had was to actually go and record all new source.
Okay.
So we got tanks. I think the smallest weapon we did was like a 50 cal.
Wow.
I mean, we drove things
Now,
around.
what's going on
we drove
here? So I'm looking at this video.
Here you go. We drove a tank over a car.
Right.
And we got all that amazing
Don't double
sounds.
park, guys. That's what happens.
That's what happens. We
Now,
got
where are the
glass
microphones
breaking.
here? Where are the I don't see any of the microphones.
So we mic'd up the entire tank. You can see kind of hanging off the side there. We had about 18 different microphones. We had guys inside, outside. We had different distances. We captured all that angles and all the different sort of sounds of the tread, the sounds of the destruction. It was
Where are you
fantastic.
driving the tank at this point?
I am not driving the tank. No, I think that was an insurance issue. But I was happy to
fantastic.
record.
Now, here we saw how you did the tank, but what are the other ways that you created sounds that would surprise people?
Well, you know, it's an amazing blend in the Halo universe of fantastic sort of sci-fi sounds and also real traditional ballistic-based things.
Right.
So we had a kind of a combination. So with the Banished stuff, we were able to take sort of the traditional Covenant sounds and go a whole nother level.
Right.
We banishized them.
Yeah.
Banished.
So is there like a filter you have? Banished filter, add,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but it was a single button.
Or a single
That's all it
button.
is.
That's all it is,
It's just
isn't it?
one button, boom, make audio.
I mean, it's amazing. I'm a huge audio fan, as you know, and some of the work that you and the team does. And just to hear the way you've updated the Halo sounds in the game, it's so refreshing.
Well, you know, appreciate that, and we had a lot of passion and pour into it. And like, for example, the score, bringing the Bryans back and bringing Gordy into the franchise for the first time. It was a glorious experience to work with them, to have them come together, create such an amazing sound that adds to the franchise, and then get that captured in LA. It was perfect.
Now, I don't know if you can tell me, because before we were standing and getting ready, the orchestra that we just saw in that piece beforehand, what orchestra was that?
Well, that was some of the finest AFM players down in Los Angeles that we put together.
Right.
And Mark Robertson did a great job getting all those players together. And we captured this flawlessly at Fox.
Right.
And we did all the choir with Leslie Ann Jones and the whole crew up at Skywalker Sound. So it was just an amazing collaboration to get that.
You're
recording
walking
done.
through historical halls and working with historical people that have contributed so much to the sound of space.
That's
and
right.
And this is the next step.
This is definitely the next step. And you know, these are partners that we think bring that level that we want to hit, and we think it's reflected in the game.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. Great
That's
chatting
great
with
talking
you.
with you, man.
All right, Halo Wars 2 is all about out-strategizing your opponent, but sometimes the war of wits spills over into the most unlikely of places. Take a look.
This baby's yours for 6K. Do we have a deal?
3.
6!
I will get this car for 3K, and this is how.
I'll open with a strategic withdrawal.
Wait, hold on.
You'll counter with a disinformation campaign.
I'll talk to my manager and see what I can do. Just a little longer. I'm talking to no one. Great news! He said we can do 5999.
Then I'll bait you with psychological warfare.
Let me talk to him. He seems more flexible.
A pun? You know I hate puns! You catty little two-faced opposable
Which will prompt a verbal assault.
I will tear your head off and hang it from the rear view like a No!
With collateral damage.
Sorry. Came out wrong.
The evidence of which will not look good in my online review. And that's how I'll get this car for 3K.
Well played. How about the warrant?
Warrant's easy for suckers.
All specified only accept no takebacks, no substitutions, no trades.
Get the Ultimate Edition and play 4 days early.
I am here with Jonathan Segal, one of the masterminds behind that spot that you just saw. Now, Jonathan, 343 has never really done an ad like this, a war of wits. Tell me about it.
Yeah, definitely just one of the masterminds. Most of the credit goes to our creative agency, 215. They came up with the scripts, presented it to us, and then from there it was just a great collaboration with 343 Industries. They took a chance on this, really kind of a leap of faith. And you know, the insight actually came from knowing that strategy fans like sarcasm, they like wit, and kind of unexpected things. And what could be more unexpected than Atriox haggling over price of a used car with Cutter?
That sounds like a dream I once had. Actually, speaking of Atriox, he's right behind us here. How did you bring him to life?
Yeah, so none of it was CG, and this is the actual suit that was used in the spot.
Actual suit, we could touch it, which you shouldn't, but I did.
And so it was made by Legacy Effects.
Yes.
They've done great work in the industry, stuff in Jurassic Park for the dinosaurs. They've made the suit for Tony Stark and Iron Man. So we knew they could do awesome work.
Got some street cred.
Yeah, total street cred. But yeah, they worked for about 2.5 months around the clock. Artists, animatronic, like robotics experts, and created this masterpiece right here.
Speaking of the animatronics, can you tell me a little bit about all that? You had some great stats about how many things are actually involved in making this come to life.
Yeah, so the face is all animatronic, and there are 25 different motors inside of Atriox's head right there that give basically an unlimited combination of different facial features.
Now, you were actually on set. You got to see this in action. Tell me what it was like to try and bring this thing to life physically on set.
Well, it was really interesting because inside of Atriox was a 6'9" actor.
There is a person inside, or not now.
No, not
God,
now.
I hope not, but there was.
There was, and it's probably the only time he has ever been asked to wear stilts.
Well.
So he was inside of Atriox, and then controlling the head were two different puppeteers operating the facial movements. So.
Any other tidbits having worked on this? Anything you want to share that you think the fans might be interested in?
Yeah, so Atriox was actually voiced by John DiMaggio, who was in Halo Wars 2 as the voice of Atriox.
And Marcus Phoenix, if you're into more Gears of War stuff.
Yep, and then we also were able to get Gideon Emery, who plays Captain Cutter in Halo Wars 2, and he was phenomenal, and the chemistry between, animatronic Atriox and Gideon Emery was just great.
Excellent. Well, it obviously was great. We're all loving your War of Wits ads. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we're going to go ahead and check in with Larry now.
All right, thank you very much, Kate. We've got Dan Ayu back alongside Halo Wars 2 EP Barry Feather to talk about this season pass. And who else do we have here?
We've got Isaac Bender. Isaac is our technical director on the project.
Thank you, guys. So let's talk about the season pass. Now, Halo Wars 2 doesn't end with just the download. Tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. The launch for us is really just the beginning, right? So we've got a really long seasons pass that we wanted to make really obvious for people. So Day one, we've actually got the Forge. So we're doing it around leaders. So every month there's going to be a leader. Everybody's going to get the Forge one for free, which is available right away. And it's going to be a combination of Forge, new cards in Blitz, new cards in multiplayer, and that's going to follow that same pattern effectively for the next 6 months. So if you got Seasons Pass, you're going to be getting a new leader and a bunch of cool new stuff. We want to be as predictable as possible, so like the third Wednesday of every month is our goal.
You told me that, and I was like, third Wednesday of every month. That's oddly specific.
It is vaguely oddly specific, but we want people, if you got the Seasons Pass, we want you to know that, like, hey, you know what, on this date, this is what's coming. So Forge is first. We already have the whole plan lined up. We're going to be talking about the next leader. She's a really cool new character to the franchise. A little hint there on the gender. And we're going to be talking more about her in Boston at PAX.
Now, the team made a decision not to include maps in the Season Pass. Why is that?
We want maps to be free for everybody. Okay. So, the Seasons Pass is going to be all of this cool new content and, stuff that if you really want to go deeper, you can enjoy. But whatever we do with maps is going to be free for everybody because, you don't want to split the groups. You don't want to limit people's ability to play. So we're kind of still figuring out what we do with maps and what the strategy is. But whatever we do with that, it's going to be open to everybody.
When are we going to get more details, gentlemen?
I'll let this guy go.
Every month, we're gonna do a deep launch of like who the leader is, like what the powers are, what the units are. We want to make sure that before people play, they know what to expect. They know they can start their strategy. When we talk about Blitz, it's all about the strategy of like how you work with other units, other leaders, other things. So we want to give people as much information as they possibly can have, so that we build that anticipation right before that third Wednesday of the month.
All right, we've been doing we're looking at Twitter all afternoon, as I'm sure you guys are. We have some Twitter question from, it looks like Bert Backer, who writes, super excited for hashtag Halo Wars 2 at Major Nelson. Can you talk about the co-op modes, base building modes? Cannot wait to play. Who wants to take that?
Why don't you take that, Isaac?
Isaac.
Yeah, so we've got co-op campaign, co-op firefight, co-op skirmish modes, and all the leaders that we were just talking about can be used in all those modes. So a lot of different co-op stuff you can play in here.
So whatever you want to do. I mean, you guys have it all. You got the single player, the multiplayer, the co-op. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we really wanted to have something in there for everybody. So, if you're a more classical, hardcore RTS player, you've got an amazing campaign, some really cool classical multiplayer modes, but of course, Blitz if you're new and you want to try something a little different.
All right, Bert Backer, guess what? We liked your tweet, so what I have for you? A Halo Wars 2 external hard drive and a limited edition Halo Wars 2 Banished controller. So we're going to hook you up with some cool hardware. Congratulations. Cool. All right, gentlemen, I will let you go. Recently, Xbox UK gathered a group of journalists who thought they were going to be playing Halo Wars 2. Haha, you can figure this out right now, right? They didn't know that they'd be living it.
We're dead! That was incredible. Are you kidding me?
It's all about the influencer. They're going to think that they're just trying out the game in a really cool room. But what they don't know is that it's going to be a totally immersive experience.
We've gone with a design which everyone loves and then made it work to the budget and then sort of retro-engineered a lot of extra requests into the set.
It's got a million different sound, lighting, practical effects that are going to happen, including the fact that we're shaking this whole set. We've got it on car spring. It's just insane, and hopefully will completely overwhelm the influencer.
Lieutenant comes in from this direction, and then the big window slides closed. Cables will fall from the ceiling, smoke up from the floor, a power cell that needs changing. We sprinkle magic everywhere.
When we were putting ourselves in the headspace of bringing this game to life, we thought we've got to immerse people, we've got to give people a taste of what this actually feels like.
When you're playing these games, you're just throwing these units in, and living or dying for these units doesn't matter. You just walk away. If they die, they die. And we just thought if you put a real person behind that, then all of a sudden you might be a little bit more cautious about whether you want to send them into battle.
Foxtrot buoy!
I think the actors are going to be really amazing to watch. It's totally immersive, the sound and effects and all of that, but it's really the actors because they bring life to it. Like this lieutenant is right in the face of the influencer at every moment saying, make a decision, make a decision.
Biggest challenge for the actors actually is something that we've hopefully cured, is that they have to memorize
32 different scripts. Even though the scripts are tiny, small, short things, it's the sequence that they go in, because there's no sort of linear process to any of the script. It's just trees out to 32 different outcomes.
We don't know what they're going to decide on the day, so they might go this way or that way, so we have to then react. We're managing it like a live theatre performance, if you like.
Confirm you have the lieutenant standing by.
The lieutenant standing by me. I'm slightly anxious by the... Oh my good lord.
Ach du Scheiße. Respekt.
Participant 3121.
Yes, this is richtig schön. What's going on? Oh my god, the door's closed.
ridiculous. Please be seated and wait instruction.
Go. Next one. Have a seat. Okay, stay free. Go.
Apologies, sir. The enemy are due to attack. And these are UNSC's finest unit commanders. Oh no, Marines.
Get some Warthog.
Burger flying Hind Hornets. Sanchez Wolverines anti-air. You have two choices. Operation Gamma or Operation Hotel. I must hurry you for this.
Yeah, alright, okay.
Work hard, play hard, die young. But not today. Not today. Engaging. Give them everything we got. I got you. Fall back! I'm very sorry. Too slow. We're dead.
Take it, okay.
That was incredible. Holy crap.
Got rocked in the head, so it became very much real. Yeah, it was a real experience.
It's so amazing. How was that? That's crazy. Just crazy.
It felt really great. I felt sorry for everyone who died.
And the best thing was that each time you had to face a decision, you didn't have any time to think about it because everyone was yelling at you.
Well played.
I thought to begin with that it might just be like pre-recorded things. You press a button, someone says something, and then they said my name, and I realized how much responsibility that entailed.
We come to a lot of gaming events, and they very rarely do you actually get kind of put in the game, like the experience of being in the game. So it was really cool.
The art of Halo Wars 2 extends far beyond what you'd see in-game and might even be coming to life in a city near you. The Halo Wars 2 Original Art Series, a limited edition of 6 original prints, are transforming into murals in cities from New York to Los Angeles. Take a look.
liked what you saw there, all 6 limited edition Halo Wars 2 prints from 343 Industries and Acme Archives just dropped today at Hero Complex Gallery, so go on and get them. And speaking of loot drops, I am here testing my luck at the Halo Plinko wall. You heard me right. Here we go. Oh, no. Did I win? Who's to know? We've been talking Halo Wars 2 all night, but across the pond, the Halo World Championships are in full swing. So let's check it out with our very own Strong Side, who's getting ready for this weekend's qualifier in the UK.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Strong Side, and we're here in London, England, getting ready to kick off the Halo World Championship London qualifier at the historic Wembley Stadium. This weekend, we're going to see the top 2 European teams secure themselves a spot at the Halo World Championship 2017 finals. This weekend, we will see pro teams from all over the continent compete for the title of Best in Europe. We'll see Fab East, Supremacy, Vibe, and Team Infuse battle it out with EU's best open bracket teams and each other for the top 2 spots. Coverage of the event begins tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, and grand finals are at Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to tune in right here at twitch.tv/Halo to catch all the action. But don't forget, the 2017 Halo World Championships are coming right up on March 24th, live from Los Angeles. We'll see teams from all over the world compete for $1 million in prizing and the title of World's Best Halo Team. Make sure you tune in. We'll see you there. Back to you in the studio.
All right, welcome back. With me now is the head of Xbox, Mr. Phil Spencer. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
Now, before we get started, I want to see if we can come in a little bit. I don't know if you can read this at home, but I think people want to take a look at what your shirt says. So
my random shirt of the day that I happen to wear?
Yeah, just happened to wear because he knew he was going to be on TV today. Right. Anyway, it's good to see you, Phil. I know you guys have been busy. The team's been busy with Project Scorpio. We're not talking about that today.
No.
We're talking about Halo Wars 2. Now, I know that you go online, you play with random Halo players. How are your Halo Wars 2 skills?
You know, I'm not that good. I can tell, like, when I'm going online, I'm trying to figure out my deck for Blitz mode.
Right.
I need to sit down with Ayub and have him kind of teach me the strategy. Dan Ayub, sorry, but, you know, it's been a while, actually, since I played a good RTS.
Right.
I'm playing on PC. I'm also playing on console. And I will get better, but I have to be honest, I'm not great.
Now let's talk about this. You said you're playing on PC and console. Halo Wars 2.
Greenberg out of the picture.
What's he doing about Aaron Greenberg?
Yeah.
Halo Wars 2 is an Xbox Play Anywhere title, which is a huge initiative for everyone across the organization. That's got to be great. How important is that for gamers?
You know, the most important thing for me about Xbox Play Anywhere is just letting you play your games wherever you want. And you know, people will talk about it like, is it for selling more games?
Right.
Is it about monetization? Whatever. I'm just like, I want our Xbox customers to be able to play their games. If they're at a place where they're in front of the PC, they can go play. If they're in front of their console, they can go play. So they get to play, and we're actually seeing it.
Yeah.
You know, we shipped Gears, we shipped Forza, we've now shipped Halo. We've got like more and more
Resident Evil
Xbox,
7.
Resident Evil 7. And when we talk to our devs, what they're saying is the people who actually are playing on both platforms are playing more.
Right.
And I think that's like validation of the program. It's not where they buy it. It's not like which is bigger, a console or PC. It's just about giving people more opportunity to play. And I'm really committed to Xbox Play Anywhere, and it's great to see the third-party support that we're getting.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the fact I can sign into my PC, play a couple rounds, open up my console, and it just syncs up my save. It just goes back.
Well,
I
like
don't
right
have to worry
now,
about
I'm playing Fallout Shelter, like, you know, and so I play on my PC while I'm at work in meetings that are boring. So I sit there and I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I'm like, I think
That's what happens when you're the boss.
Everybody's got a boss. Sometimes I'm in my boss's meeting. And today I'm sitting there playing Fallout Shelter, and then when I go home, I log into my console. There's, you know, I'm playing. It's not like I got to start out. I have another game I'm playing a lot, Astroneer, kind of the same thing. I can move back and forth. So the fact that I'm making progress, everything counts. Whenever I play, I'm moving my gameplay forward. I think, you know, everybody should support XBA. That's what I think.
I mean, to your point, I think it's pretty obvious, this next question I have for you, which is how important is the Xbox, how committed is Xbox to PC gaming? And I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, you know, but I want to be fair, because I know a lot of people looked at our early PC launches and they said, hey, this doesn't really feel like a PC game.
Right.
And we know today's games will take 2-3 years to actually go build a good game. I look at Halo Wars 2, I think it's a good PC game, but you know, let's be honest, it was a genre that started on PC and RTS, that we on Halo Wars 1, we took it over to console. Now with Halo Wars 2, we're shipping on both platforms, and people will see that. It's like, is this a console RTS, a PC RTS? and we're going to say yes. But I'll say in the long run, Windows is incredibly important to Microsoft, duh.
Right.
And gaming is one of the most vibrant activities that happens on the Windows platform. And the Xbox team now runs gaming for Microsoft.
Right.
Gaming on PC is something that we're committed to. We're going to have more things to talk about. We're going to have games that only ship on PC. We're going to have games that only ship on console. And PC gaming is critically important to the company. From Satya on down, the company believes that.
Now, why is it for you? I mean, you kind of talked about why is it important to you? I mean, from a gamer and from a business perspective.
Well, I don't know about from the business perspective, but I'm a little old school in this fashion. I like the art form of building games.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing for decades now. And I think the kind of sharded nature of gameplay today isn't really healthy for the ecosystem. You know, like this idea that I can only play my games here, or I only play my games there. As a developer, I've got to make these kind of weird choices on, oh, did I sell my game over here? Did I sell it there? My communities are spread out.
They're fractured,
I want more games created.
Yeah.
And what that means is giving developers the opportunity to reach the broadest audience with their games. And I think we've got a long way to go, but I just start from the perspective I want people to play great games, and I want those games to do incredibly well. And as Microsoft, we have the Windows platform, the Xbox platform, and you've seen us do things like ship games on other consoles. Right? Because I think people should get to go play games, and if they're on another console, they should get to go do that. So for me, it's about games first and giving games the most opportunity to be successful.
I want to talk about, this is always a weird question because here we are, it's now February. We have E3 a few months ago away, and we got a bunch of announcements coming out then. What games are you excited about this year? Right? Because I know there's a part of your brain which has all these unreleased titles stacked up.
Some of them that maybe we haven't announced yet. This year, you know, it's a game that is, I want to play Below. Cappy games, I want to play Below. And it's a game that's a little bit like under the radar, but it's a game, I love Cappy, I love the creative work that they do. You know, is it going to be this year? I'll let them kind of say that. But I feel incredibly, like, this is a great kickoff to this year for us with Halo Wars 2 coming. You know, it's the games that we build, the games that we publish, the games that we deliver to our Xbox customers, our Windows gaming customers, incredibly important to me. And I think we've got a really strong lineup this year. But we don't have Halo FPS this year. We don't have Gears this year. So it's also an interesting year for us because we're going through the year with releases that aren't our traditional kind of big mega franchises, but I think they're going to do really well. I think people are going to get really excited about the creativity and the gameplay and things like Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 and Crackdown and maybe some other things that we haven't talked about and Halo Wars 2. And I love that. I love the challenge of going into the year with games that aren't our traditional games that we ship and making those things big and getting people to believe. Small things like Cuphead through big things like Halo Wars 2 and other things.
And everything in between.
It'll be a really fun year. But I'll tell you, I've been watching the Twitter feed of State of Decay 2 and the team down at Undead Labs. I think they're doing an amazing job talking about the creativity, showing some of the concept art. It's a long-winded answer. Crackdown's always one of my favorite games of all time. So, you know, the thing I'll probably be playing the most of when it's all said and done is Crackdown.
Well, you also forgot a favorite that's coming out this year, Voodoo Vince.
I feel like I Voodoo Vince things to death. And
I went and looked at it yesterday over in Clayton's office. It's great.
Have you played it? Did you play the original?
Oh, yeah.
Did you finish it?
Oh, yeah.
The Cosmobot all the way to the top?
All the way to the top.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're talking about Twitter a little bit. Now, you're on Twitter, Xbox B3. This is a question from Twitter. Heston Van-C asks, Phil, how much time do you spend playing Xbox each week?
Well, I play a lot. I mean, I don't play a lot like relative to some people who play a lot. But I probably play, let me think, 10 to 12 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess. I got back into The Witcher 3, a game I didn't
saw
finish.
you playing that.
Yeah.
I know you see me playing that.
And I didn't finish it originally, so I'm going back. But I really love playing games.
Right.
I'm incredibly lucky to have the job that I have. And getting to play the games keeps me connected to why we do what we do.
Well, that's good. Well, good news. Guess what? Heston Van-C, you know what we're going to do?
What's that?
We are going to give him or her a Surface Book with performance base.
You need the performance base. That's awesome. That's what I use. That's a great machine.
And it runs Halo Wars too, just fine.
That's good.
All right, we're going to thank you. I want to thank you very much. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox. And now let's check in with Jeff and Brian on our gameplay stream. Gentlemen, what's up?
Yeah, so as our new, as our teams are getting set up here, and we are now going to go right back into more gameplay.
That's right.
Welcome, if you're just joining us from our main stream, welcome to the gameplay stream over here on beam.pro/Halo. We are playing Halo Wars 2 multiplayer all evening. I'm Brian, this is Jeff.
That's right. We have been seeing some crazy matches going on. We've seen some huge swings. We've been playing Blitz. We've been playing Strongholds. Man, I've been having a blast. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would be more fun, honestly, is if we actually got to play. But the next best thing clearly is watching these guys have fun and show off our new game, which is rolling out right now around the world. Ultimate Edition will be unlocking right now, depending on where you live. Otherwise, we're on the 21st of February, the regular edition. So we're going to be jumping into another game here of 2v2 in Blitz mode.
That's right.
Our new fast-paced kind of twist on RTS gameplay.
And if you're just joining us now from the Halo Wars 2 live show, we've been playing all gameplay all the time for Halo Wars 2. And we've seen, again, so we've seen some incredible matches. We've seen game developers playing. We've seen community heroes playing. And as you see right here on your screen, it's pretty epic. I'll say that. What you see actually right here, we've got a couple of friends of the studio. And both kind of a hybrid of community and Xbox friends. We had Ricari there from the Killer Instinct and Crackdown team. We've got Kenny Spartacat from Ultimate Halo. We've got the lords of the game test in dev right over here. And we had a scintillating match of Strongholds that they just wrapped up. And now we are going straight into our final match, which is Blitz 2v2. What are you looking for with these two teams based on what we just saw in Strongholds?
Right now, I want to see what these teams do right out of the gate. We've talked about this all day on our stream. The first few minutes between how you manage your energy and which points you go for and choose to defend will determine the outcome of the game. And right now, we'll see Red Team with a coordinated push going straight for C. And as usual, Jeff, no surprise, we're back to contesting point B.
Back to contesting point B, and you notice there's a lot of fast, small units. We've got the infantry, we've got ghosts, we've got some prowlers down there. Oh, look at this. We've got a huge competition right there over...
A gentleman's agreement. It looks like I think we had two teams just sharing the energy.
And this right here is a great example of where you would want to risk that deployment fatigue to drop in a unit like a Locust to take out. You got that triple team basically on their opponent. You gather that energy up, and this can really help set you up for success, at least in the early game.
Totally. So now you'll see more energy drops coming in, as we've been saying. If you've been following Blitz, you know energy is key. It is the resource that will allow you to play your cards in the battle. So deciding when you want to pull off of a zone, when you want to commit units to getting energy could pay huge dividends later in the match.
That's true. Now we see right now that Red Team is up on Blue Team 27-8, but we also have seen leads like that evaporate pretty quickly. And we see Red Team right now choosing, probably smartly so, to spawn at their base to make sure they don't worry about the deployment fatigue.
Sorry to interrupt you. I want to check this out here. We got the Blue Team deploying 2 Nightingales. So let's take a closer look at the Nightingale, one of my personal favorite UNSC units. The great thing about this card is it actually can heal. So this unit will fly around, heal your friendly units that are taking damage and your teammates' units. But more importantly, I see another word down there. This card has a support ability. What does that mean?
Well, the support ability, and it actually has 2 keywords down. You have support ability, which again is kind of talking about, hey, this unit has the ability to support your units, and in this capacity, it's a healing. But it also has detect, which is really important as well, because the last thing you want, man, is some of the worst positions to be in is to have a bunch of cloaked enemy units coming in, firing on you. Your units can't find them, so having a Nightingale around is really, really handy. Now, it's a risk reward because the flip side of that, obviously, is that the Nightingale has no kind of onboard offensive combat capabilities. So you are taking up some of that population and using some of that energy on something that isn't going to advance your cause from an offensive standpoint, but it more than makes up for that if you can be smart with it and keep your units in the field.
So it looks like now we're seeing a pretty classic strategy being deployed by the red and yellow players here, trying to set up, sort of entrench themselves on the ridge line between B and C, which, as we all know from the beta, owning that ridge with artillery like we're seeing right now between blisterbacks, between Kodiaks, between locusts, it's pretty hard to hold B and C if you do not control that ridge.
That's right.
So, want to see how blue team responds here.
Now we've got blue gathering some energy. We also saw a really cool unit that's new with Halo Wars 2. That's the blisterback. So it's actually an air unit in addition to being an artillery unit, which is interesting because it gives it the ability to kind of not worry about terrain so much. So maybe whereas the Kodiak is a really strong artillery option, it does have to worry about the terrain and getting to places faster, whereas the blisterback in some ways has a little bit more range because the terrain is not as much of an issue. You can kind of set it up in a key position and really wreak havoc.
Absolutely. So it looks like, right now, in that last game we had between these same two teams in Strongholds, it was pretty evenly matched. Right now, red team is ahead, but that pop-up down there tells me it's time for another Halo Q&A to win a prize. First person to respond in our beam chat with the correct answer will receive some sort of mysterious magical prize.
Nice. And of course, our question was how many cards make up a Blitz deck? So those of you who actually participated in our Blitz beta not long ago are probably well familiar with that answer. So hopefully one of you guys has answered that correctly in the beam chat so we can give some cool prizes. Let's get back to the action.
Look at this triple cap underway here as we took a moment for our Q&A, and meanwhile red team has
halfway
moved in,
to victory. Red team is
dominating here. Triple cap, that score is just ticking away. And as a reminder, the first team to 200 will be the winner. Otherwise, if time expires, the team with the most points will win.
And we want to shout out to our winner, Marty V, or Martive, or Marty 5. We're not entirely sure. What we are sure of, though, is that you are a winner. And you have won a cool prize for answering our last trivia question correctly in the beam chat.
So it's getting a little dire here. If you're blue team right now, you really need to start thinking about doing something different because
definitely gonna have to
red team is really dictating the pace of this match. Back to a triple cap right now. I'd have to guess red team has a pretty huge energy advantage at this point as well. We're looking at 150 to 19. That score is ticking away by the second. It's going to be nearly impossible at this rate for blue team to come back.
Like, part of me is just wondering if red team just really wants a drink or some of the food options that we've got going on at the party, because they are wreaking havoc on blue team right now with extreme prejudice. Again, they may end this in a triple cap, which is
I noticed the red team doing what I do a lot, leaving units up on that north ridge to just easily grab themselves some very quick energy.
And you can see their energy accrual right now at a 1.39.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This just in.
Yes.
Apparently our own Jeff Grimbrother 1 just won something, but here we go.
That's awesome.
We are done. Speaking
That's
of
good because I can get there in 15 minutes then.
Red team,
I gotta go now right now.
Congratulations.
If you are in the lobby and you are watching this, you know what I'm doing. I won that Xbox.
No, it's too late.
Yeah, no.
But I want to give a shout out. Thank you for watching us here on the Beam gameplay stream. We've had a great time playing Halo Wars 2 multiplayer. We look forward to seeing you all online. And now back to Larry and the party.
That's right.
Oh, I think the party's in there, gentlemen. Now, if you like what you've seen tonight, don't forget you can start playing the game in just a few hours at midnight Eastern Time. If, and only if, you get the Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition. That's right, you can jump into the battle 4 days before the game officially comes out next week. Now, if you saw your Twitter handle tonight on screen, make sure you follow @Halo on Twitter, and we'll DM you directly in the next 24 hours to discuss your prize.
And hey, red versus blue fans, Season 15 is coming soon. So between that and the Halo Wars 2 Season Pass updates and some major Halo World Championship games, we've got a great year ahead for Halo indeed.
All right, now listen, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, we've got 343 Industries studio head Bonnie Ross. Bonnie being escorted in by this nice gentleman.
Thank you, Atkins.
Now, Bonnie, I have to, do you have any, before we say goodbye, we need to tell people what we were planning.
I know, so disappointing.
We had tonight, we had a massive, your studio and have found a local baker, and we did a massive Atriox cake.
6 feet tall.
The cake was 6 feet tall, hundreds of eggs, pounds and pounds of flour. God only knows about the sugar.
Pounds of flour.
Now, what happened?
There was an incident on the U-Haul, and it did not go well for Atriox. And as such, there will be no cake.
So if you're in the Seattle area and you see a U-Haul on the side of the road and a lot of flies buzzing around it, keep driving.
It's Atriox. Stop by and pay tribute.
But anyways, do you have any final words you want to say for anybody before we go?
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for your support. And for those of you that pre-ordered, I hope to see you guys online this weekend. But I'm really excited about a new story, Blitz mode, and everything else with Halo Wars 2. So thank you guys.
Bonnie Ross, head of 343 Industries. Hey guys, that was a party in there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a real party now.
And you come in with the prizes.
Oh, the prize.
All right, well,
I'm so
listen,
glad I
gang,
came to this party.
unfortunately, we are out of time. We need to wrap up. So thank you for watching. And remember, the Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition unlocks later tonight at midnight Eastern Time. All right, on behalf of everybody at Xbox and especially here at 343 Studios, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
It's going to be a totally immersive experience.
That was incredible. Are you kidding me?
There are so many ways to play this RTS.
The thing about Halo Wars 2
is something the universe hasn't seen before.
It's totally crazy, super insane.
It changes the game.